podcast Baat. Today's guest is one of my besties in the comedy scene. Please, I don't know, scream and shout for my bestie Navin Noronha.
Uh,
Hi,
by the way, what is this J Baat thing? You're not that person. You're not Comic Stan. Your your vibe is, Kulaba, hip, keep it real.
can I tell you something? When people in Kolaba do something, they make it cool.
So now you believe everybody in South Bombay will be saying J Baat, like
I
it's a
mean,
big thing to say.
it's just me talking. Baat is that.
I get it. It's cute. I like it.
Thanks.
I mean, the more you can get puns with your own name, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Like I was like my YouTube series which I wanted to do dedicatedly was called React Corona with Navin Noronha. So it was like a pun, not of a pun, a rhyme rather. But Rohit Shah, the famous Rohit Shah, said that if you ever do a show, one day you should call it Narona Pyar Hai, just like as a pun on Kahona Pyar Hai. So I was like, I also entertain the ideas of puns, but
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Great. Narona Pyar Hai would be a very nice podcast.
Yeah,
I would watch
whatever
it.
form it takes.
Whatever.
Form it takes. Like, as of now, I think I'm okay. I've done enough podcasts for now, and I don't know. I want to change shit up sometimes. But
Yeah.
then, like this whole Corona thing happened. Like my vision for my solo show was evolving a lot after having gone to Australia, especially. But it just felt like encumbered. But thankfully now, thanks to online, I can experiment with that in some way. So never say never, I guess.
Yeah. Never say never. Um, um anyway. Okay, Narona, let us start with what was your first memory of me?
Okay, so when you say J-Bar, it's all about like how you feel about you
No,
as a
and
person.
then I'll tell
Okay,
you about you.
okay, cool. I'm just pulling your leg. The first memory I have of you, Jia, is I was a young, struggling open micer, and you were already in the scene because you were like hanging out with the whole, SNG gang, and you were doing a bit of improv, and you were part of the what was that? The canvas had this thing like the interns, the comedy interns, was
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd seen like y'all around, like Kamra, Akash, you, Abbas, and I was like fairly 2 years after y'all. I think I came into the scene, and you were at Hive, and you were excited to like you came back to comedy after a while. I think performing stand up. So you were really excited before the show, and you wanted someone to take a selfie or a photo of you with the mic before the show started. And there was no one around, so you caught me. And you're like, hey, you'll be my friend, okay? And you were like, come, come, come. So I'm like, okay, what is this Focus friendship I'm being tagged onto? And and then we went to the Hive car small room, the Zircus room, and I took like some 20,000 photos of you, and you were not happy with any of those. But thankfully, by then they said the show is starting, so please get off the stage, and you got off. And that was my first impression of you. Was that wow, this girl needs a lot of photos, and and then I don't remember we connecting properly for a while. I think you moved to America for a bit. You stayed there for a bit and then you came back. And then when you came back, we got into the whole improv practice and etc. happened. So
Yeah.
yeah,
My
that's how.
first memory actually of you was the etceetras.
That's how immemorable I am as a person.
But the thing is, you also joined the group a little late. I think we had done one, two practices or something, and then you joined in. And
Yeah,
when you joined in, I was like, oh my God, who is this sweet, innocent boy? You
I
was
was an afterthought in the improv group for sure.
no,
That
no.
much I know.
Nobody was an afterthought. It was all 10 people was decided.
Mm,
Because everyone knew someone or the other, and that is how they got the person on board.
yeah, I was
Um,
speaking to Hazel recently about the whole etc. thing. How it didn't pan out.
yeah. I told somebody that the reason I completely got off improv was because of the fact that I feel like I was in a toxic relationship with the etceetras.
Yeah.
And I couldn't deal with that heartbreak that it brought to me when the group broke up.
Yeah.
Um,
It is like that sometimes.
huh?
It is like that sometimes. Like sometimes when I look back, and if there was a realistic charting of how we could have played out in the long game, it would have been mind blowing. Like it could have been the improv group to look out for in this country. If not for the whole lethargy, politics, and like every group goes through that. It's very cute to like look at it now and be like, okay, it went for the better because all of us individually also took off, but as a group it was something else, and that's like I miss it.
Even I miss it. But that's the thing, right? I was so committed to it that when it didn't give me the same commitment back,
Yeah,
I was sad and heartbroken. But when
yeah.
you came to Kabir's house for practice, I was like, oh my God, this young child. And then obviously I got to know you. So how long would that be approximately? How long have we known each other?
I would say that was 2016 because that's exactly when I got this new job, the podcasting job, and I was in a relationship. So it was like everything was just like falling in place for me in my life in 2016. And now 2020, we don't have the improv group. I don't have the relationship. I don't have that job. I don't have anything. So it's like it all just like I mean, it's a ever evolving life fact that you have to keep moving ahead. But it's cute to know that again. I look back at 2016 and what a great year. Like what a formative year because I also remember I was just like transitioning into my own self because I believe because we had the improv group and because I was so allowed to be myself, like just be amongst a group of people who encourage you to like be crazy. Like we had these games that brought out body, functions more vividly than anywhere else before. And I remember as a kid in Bhayandar, I was growing up, I was very keen on dramatics, but I told you there was an entire shift between my school's location. Like there was Bhayandar West kids and there was Bhayandar East kids. So we were not given as many opportunities. I was always a background actor. So for the first time in my life, I was not in the background. I was getting the chance to just like shine, and at shows it would show that whenever people came after the show and said you guys were amazing, and then you were fucking amazing. And I mean that's not the improv group agenda. I know that, but for a moment I got to shine, and in that year I felt like a clear transition because the reason I can be this today, and the reason I could at least I think travel around the country and the world and come back, I feel like it was because that year was so pivotal in my life. And also like I also changed my fashion sense. I was terrible at it. I would not wear shoes to shows. I would go up on stage in t-shirt and shorts. That was all that changed. But when we had an improv, uniform, and then I made a point to look well every time I went on stage. Even if I was working in the daytime, I would carry extra shirts to go to Canvas or Hive or wherever. So that was like a culture that developed that year.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of discipline. Improv comes with a lot of discipline in any case, right? And so that discipline made and you were young. How old were you then?
I was 23, 24. Yeah.
Exactly, right? 23,
Yeah.
24 is also an age where you're also a little rebellious and, uh I was
And
gonna
was
say
for me the perfect getaway from my family situation because like there was a lot of conflict in my house because I was doing comedy or I was a writer or I was not doing engineering. So there was always like some kind of bickering going on. So I wouldn't like to spend weekends at home even though I had them free. Like after working the entire week from Monday to Friday. And that's how we used to rehearse, right? We used to rehearse on a Wednesday or a Thursday or Friday. And then again on the weekends we'd spend Saturday, Sunday rehearsing. So became the perfect getaway from this whole scenario and like getting to live that perfect life. I remember like she not go home essentially because both of us had the same thing, go home and get depressed. So we'd spend like Saturday morning rehearsing the whole afternoon. We'd write jokes and bounce material off each other, and in the evening go to a mic and then go home perhaps, or then just chill at Kabir's house overnight and because we have a rehearsal again the next morning. So I think that culture became such an important part of my life, which helped me also later on to move out because you should not be a bludgeoning artist and also be living under your parents' house. Even though artists are the ones who end up living like that because they have no money. But yeah, that's the reality.
that is the reality. I can't believe I did not. Anyway. Um all right. Rona, tell
Mhm.
me one thing that you hate about me.
Um, the dedication to certain things can become a little annoying. Like one night, I remember I was staying over at your place, and it was late at night. We'd spoken for like 3 hours, and we were supposed to just like pass out. And you still had to do the chalkboard. Like you maintain that chalkboard, and I'm like, why? Just like do it in the morning, but you're like, no, I have to do it right now. Even though you were tired, you napped with me, and then you woke up randomly, and I'm like, dude, just like no, nothing in the world is as important as sleeping peacefully, and especially when we were like 3 in the morning, I think very like initiated on something, and and that's not just even your 11:11 thing. Like at any moment, like you're driving and it's suddenly like 11, I'm like, dude, just like it scares me sometimes.
But it comes up on its own. It's not like I have planned it. The 11:11, I just see my phone and I'm like, shit, it's 11:11, and it
It's
always
wired.
happens.
You're wired yourself to that now. It's accepted. It's like everything is like that only. For example, I always see 420 everywhere I see. Like it's not that I'm envisioning it, but then because we put out that and it comes back like that, I feel it's the reality of it all.
Yeah. The one thing I hate about you is you're too easy. Like you're too chilled out. You're too chilled out.
Yeah.
You don't care for anything. I mean, like, it's not such a big deal. It's so weird that you're so, nothing bothers you. It'll bother you for a second and you'll get over it.
Yeah. That's Vipassana for me.
Wow, really? Vipassana? No, I think this has been since I've known you.
No, no, no. I think as a younger person, I would be very more anxious than anything else. And even though I don't show it, it's always in the back of my mind. Like certain things, and these are small things, not even like long game plan things. Like I'll not care about my taxes for the entire year until like June, July hits. But like if my Garka light is broken, that will upset me to the max. And then I'll be like, unless the electrician comes and that light goes again, I won't find peace in myself. So this was me earlier, but now I'm just like, you know what? Everything falls into place.
So it's
I
okay if
think,
the fan makes a noise.
yeah, but I mean, like, I put it in my list to like get an electrician and do it. But now, yeah, it's like so many things are happening. I don't like. Who wants to spend so much of my brain cells on like trivial things? You know?
Well done. I mean, I don't know, but I think uh yeah, I guess it's a good thing only. But yeah, you're too easy. You're too easy. Except when it comes to me, you're too easy. All right. What is your best time hanging out together?
I mean, like you want to ask in general, or like when was the best time you had, or like
When was the best time you had?
I think my birthday at your house was quite memorable because I think that was a very special pocket in my memory because I was just back from starting my tour, my first ever tour, which was when like Nanak had started managing me. So we had put together this entire schedule for like traveling and everything. Very new to this, so I finished like 2 cities, and I had not seen you for a while, I think. So that's why you were like, let's do it my place. I just started dating Abhi, so he was in the equation. Balrat was there, he was there. Like essentially the whole gang that we like knew who are close to us. Prashasti, Shri was there, Nanak of course, Akash was there. So it was like a very important moment. And then from there, like not everything went smoothly in our lives. I think that's why that moment is very precious. And especially you opening your doors to having my birthday at your house and then making it special also was like quite a big deal. So yeah, I don't give a
My
fuck about birthdays usually.
my favorite moment hanging out with you was when you would stay over
Yeah,
and we would do silly shit. I remember this one time, I think maybe that was your birthday only, when we slept on the floor outside in
I
the
don't remember
hall.
this.
We just passed out on the floor.
Oh shit, must have been very high then.
But every time that you've stayed over, I've had a lot of fun. I miss obviously that. But now you're close by is better. You know what I wanted to actually tell you earlier when you were telling me about how you used to come and hang out with Shri
Hmm.
for after the improv class and all. Because you used to travel from Bhayandar, dude,
Yeah,
and then you'd go back, and it's like 2 hours of travel one way in a way.
yeah.
It takes you at least 40 minutes to reach the place that you have to catch the bus, train, whatever you're going to take, right? 10 minutes, 20 minutes to get there. Then you're waiting for that. Another
Yeah,
10.
basically like growing up this side of town, it becomes like a basic habit. You kind of account into the consideration that okay, we'll have to spend 1 hour getting to that place. So let's backtrack 1.5 hours and see how to get ready. So even like if we have a wedding, my whole family would start getting ready at 5 p.m. in the evening when someone else is getting married at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So that's how we used to go. But now obviously I'm spoiled, having moved to Khar. I just feel like everything is within the 15-20 minute radius, even Andheri for that matter. But now coming back, I'm in Bandar right now with my family for the 10 days of lockdown with them. And now, like, I had to plan this, and it took me 4 months to plan this out just to get out of Bandar somehow, get out of car somehow, and get to Bandar. Like, somehow I found an Uber guy who was willing to come and got in right before this part of town went in lockdown again. So, yeah, I don't feel great, but it's what it is.
But well done for doing that traveling, dude, all the time to make sure that you're in the side of town.
Yeah. And that's what like a lot of kids now also are doing it. Like in the comedy scene, you'll see like when we were doing open mics, there would be boys who'd come from Vasai, Dombivli, Kalyan side, Khargar. I think that's good to know that spirit of like keeping that realistic there in comics, that you just don't like show up for one open mic and get what you want. You have to travel from these places. And I also recommend a lot of younger comics who are working to like, why don't you just like put some money together and buy a small apartment that we will be living like a lot of younger comics in US in the golden era of comics were doing that, like in the 80s and 90s. They would just like live together in New York because New York rents were high, or LA, but they wanted to perform comedy together. So they would live together as comics, and thereby like came across so much culture because they were brainstorming all the time in their rooms, and came up with content and comedy together. That's how it grows. So that's also one way of going about it,
Yeah, but I don't think these young comics have the job to hold a house on rent in.
especially in Mumbai. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What is your favorite meal that we have eaten together?
Oh, yeah, that I remember very clearly. Stacks and Racks in Malad. We had after a show at Studio Mojo. It was a Good Friday, I think, and this especially because it was Good Friday, that place is empty because every went there, that place was packed. So we would like get to sit on three different tables, start from the outside, then move towards to a middle area, and then go inside for the third course. But this time on Good Friday, we had the best portions, and a guy we chilled and we spoke to each other, and we promoted his page and everything. It was quite cute.
Yeah.
That is the best meal to this day I remember.
Is it because of the meat or because of me?
Both.
All right, cool. I really enjoyed that sushi meal that you took me to in Lower Parel,
Oh yeah,
in that small little place. It was so
Tokyo
homely.
treat.
I really felt it was so homely and nice. And
Yeah.
all right, if you had to make up a name for me, what would it be?
Like a imaginary name, a nickname, like a
Nickname, imaginary name, whatever
I,
you
I would I would call you Jeepers.
really.
Yeah, because you scare a lot of people. I know I've seen like genuine fear in open micers and some of your students, like they might just piss their pants. And but also like yeah, either Jeepers or Jinkies.
Jinky sounds more fun.
Yeah, that's what Vilma said.
That's what.
Vilma said in Scooby Doo.
All right.
Jinkies.
Yeah, Jinkies is more fun.
Yeah.
Um, I think I would no no Rona. That's what I would only. You don't. I mean, there's no feelings. It's that it comes from that I don't care. Mm, I feel like
You
you're
never
very
see me crying, Oj.
disconnected. What?
You never see me crying.
No, I've never seen you crying. Can you please demonstrate?
No. I
Why?
don't. I don't know. All my just like Amy Winehouse said, no tears left to cry.
I think the one
No,
time
that,
I
that
have,
that's a Taylor Swift song. Wait, my tears die on their own was an Amy Winehouse song. Oh fuck! I did a very bad gay thing. I
yeah,
misquoted a diva to the wrong song. Sorry. Taylor
and
Swift, no tears left to cry. No, it's Ariana Grande. What am I doing? It's Ariana Grande, no tears left to cry, and tears die on their own is Amy Winehouse, and Taylor Swift I don't like. Fucking fuck
your Abhi is gonna be so upset with this bit. So upset.
yeah,
He's gonna hate it so much. He's just gonna be like, "How could you?"
yeah, especially with Taylor Swift.
And Ariana Grande, doesn't he like love her?
Yeah, he has a seven rings hoodie.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna be so disappointed in you for not
That's
knowing.
okay. That's not new.
All right, all right. Okay, if we were stranded together, where in the world would you like to be stranded with me?
I think in Amsterdam.
Yeah, me too. Oh my god.
It's got coffee, it's got cakes, it's got the green stuff, and it's got comedy also. It's got live ambience, it's got everything you want.
Yeah, it's the joy of life. Oh my god,
Yeah,
we should totally go on a holiday there once, man.
once we can,
Even if it's like 10 years later, we should totally go to Amsterdam and
for
just
sure.
chill for
And
a.
this will go out as video proof that we have to like keep it in our memory.
Yeah,
Hmm?
how many years did I say?
10 years.
Oh, that's enough time.
Yeah, I
That's
think we'll
enough
make
time.
money by then.
I'll be 49, just saying.
So we'll get a senior citizens travel pass for you.
So
With
I
like
think 55 plus to be a senior citizen, right?
I don't know, like at the rate that people are dying right now, they might just push the death rate lower. Like the age to get older is fast coming now. It's crazy because today my godfather was here and he's like 70 plus now. The mom was like he's not well, but he seemed like pretty chirpy and fine. And his wife's like my godmother's mother is living with them. She's 102 years old, dude.
Wow. How are people alive at that age?
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
crazy. And she's all senses are there and everything.
Yeah, she's pretty like sprightly, walks around, eats food. I also feel like their diet and their whole early life was much more purer than us. Like they ate what they grew, they drank water from the reserves, not like us getting tanky water which we boil and then put in aquaguard. It's like a lot of what anti-vaxxers sometimes say makes sense to me. Like obviously vaccination is important for human evolution, but there's a slice of life to like growing organically and being like that, like no GMO or whatever. It's just like mass production led to this, and that's like a whole different. I'm more passionate about all these things, like sustenance of human life, on what merit and all of that. I was just watching a documentary which was very interesting and kind of dealt with this, so like it's very fresh for me.
But the thing is, if but like, there's very few people that lasted till now and are still there mentally and just are there, physically
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Because
But if you go towards the rural places, there's several of them. I
yeah,
think there's more in the village areas where like they haven't been exposed to like pollution or light pollution, noise pollution. Just like the fact that we live in such a toxic environment that everything we're breathing and we are putting our bodies through kind of fucks with us. So for me, the long term plan ever since I was a kid was to like get out of city life and build like something in the mountains and be by myself. That's the more I grow, the more I feel I need to be real. And my friend Amit, in fact, I didn't tell you, right? I met Amit after like 7 years, 2 days ago. My friend who I grew up with for like, he went to become a doctor to Russia. And even he's like, you know what? I don't know why I wasted 7 years, but like, sometimes I just feel like giving it all up and doing what you want to do as children. Take a raft, sail away in the ocean, and just like find something, find an island, make it your own. All of that. I had very idealistic dreams as a kid. I don't know what happened.
money happened, the problem of money, and just the fact that one needs to have money to sustain a life, and then
Yeah,
your lifestyle.
yeah, and this keeps going on, till you die.
Yeah, unless you actually make that change and get up and leave. A lot of people have done that. A
Yeah,
lot of people have changed their lives after they're 35. A lot of people have changed their lives after they're 55.
I
Right?
see that happening for me.
Huh?
I think for me, like life has been so many radical shifts.
Yeah.
I feel that this will happen for me.
Yeah, it will. All right. Um, what would you change about me if you could?
Nothing, I think. I mean, the person that you are is a culmination of so many experiences and upbringing and like factors that you've met people, you've done this, you've traveled here and there. So like that's what makes a person a person. So changing about them, anything would be taking away what makes them a sum of their whole part. You know, that's what I feel.
Yeah, me too. I think I wouldn't change anything about you except I wouldn't change anything. Um, uh, I think the only thing I think I would try, and maybe if I don't know, if I had to change something, it would be for you to have some decision making skill. Like
Hmm.
what is the word I'm looking for? Certainty,
Affirmation.
affirmation.
Yeah.
Yeah, where like that go with the flow thing, instead of doing the go with the flow thing, just do
But
what
that's
you
the
want.
thing. But you set yourself for disappointment when you do that. I just feel that. I mean, of course, I do what I want also, and I do whoever I want also. But yeah, there are caveats in life which you can't control. So you're
I
free with
feel
that.
like there are people that take advantage of that a lot, all
Hmm.
the time. I've seen at least five people I can name, which I'm not going to, but
That
I
is
see,
off the books.
yeah, at least five people that I've known that have taken advantage of your niceness. And I
It's
think
news
that
to me.
maybe you should not allow to happen. It's news to you. What rubbish. You can
It
think
was
of three
nice.
people in your head right now.
Oh yeah.
Exactly, there you go. Um, would you think we will be friends after 5 years?
We just made a 10-year plan for Amsterdam. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's what I think, we'll be friends. But this is a question to ask. If you don't be my friend after 5 years, I will send this recording to you.
Depends on what you do 5 years later.
I mean, even
It could
if
be
I
something
left the
so.
country and done something, I mean, even if we're not in the same country, we can still be
Hmm,
friends.
for sure. Obviously, that's how friendships work.
Yeah, and then meet
That's what I
in.
just said. Like even Amit, I met him after 7 years. We were still like we are in different countries, but when we meet, we are still like just start walking on the road like we are old buddies. Nothing changed at all. That's what life is. Like I think one thing I read very early from this book called The Body by Stephen King. Uh, it's about like a coming of age story basically. It was very unlike Stephen King because he was writing a lot of horror when he was coked up and doing a lot of this mental shit that he was writing, but also at the same time he was writing some very warm stories, and The Body is one of them, where like four boys grow up in a small town in Maine, but then as they grow up they all fall apart, right? Like life takes some different routes. And we start the movie, the book or the movie, both have the same starting, where the main character, the narrator of the story, is reading a story where his childhood best friend has been stabbed to death at a local bar or a cafe where there was a war or fight that broke up between two people, and he stopped the war, and there was a fight. Now you go into that story knowing that information, because when we see the end of that journey they have as kids, he says that line. Sometimes friends are like busboys in a busy restaurant. They come in and go out like they're very busy, but they're always there because when you need them, they're always around. So that was kind of something that stuck with me. Like it's not just you define friendship by how much time you hung out, but how much value did you place on it, and how when you come back or you touch base back again, will you be able to pick it up the same way, or will you have to say, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, I could not connect" or whatever? Because there's no need for that, you know.
Yeah, that's a great. What name? What is the name of the book?
The Body,
Nice.
Stephen King.
I will
Yeah,
try and read this book. It sounds like, but that is a great example of how friendships should be and will
yeah.
be.
If you
Um,
want to read the book, then watch the movie called Stand by Me. Same story, much shorter and very cute again, very beautifully done.
all
Do you
right.
know River Phoenix?
No.
He was in the movie. Like Joaquin Phoenix's younger brother who died early, but he's Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. So his younger brother was also an actor, River Phoenix, and he was in the movie as a young Chris. And then like the fact that he actually died in real life also is so tragic. That's why that movie becomes even more important. You know that his character in the movie dies, and then he really died. So it's like yeah,
All right. One last thing before I go, I must tell you, Narona, I have seen you grow and evolve as a human being so much in the last 4 years, right? From taking responsibility of yourself, then getting cats, right? Moving out, having a career, having three careers at the same time at some point, right?
yeah.
The dedication, the hard work, it's insane. I'm so proud of you. I didn't
Thank
think
you.
that this J Bath would end like this.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna really cry now. Are you trying to get
Balls are
me?
gonna
Are you
cry.
trying to get me?
Rubbish. Thank you for watching J Bath with Navin Noronha. Please follow him at.
House of Narona, HOUSEOF Narona, NORNHA. I also have a YouTube channel, Navin Narona. I put my videos out. I have podcast videos out. I also am doing random shit on YouTube when I get time between work. I'll do that as well. And I'm doing my shows on Zoom. Check it out. Follow my page. Come.